Okay guys, today we're going to be digitizing, or at least attempting to digitize this super cute wifey design. Not this exact design, the last name's a little bit different, but we're going to be attempting to do a split file with the 4 by 6.75 embroidery hoop. So I'm basically just going to walk you through my process and how I would go about this. So first thing I'm going to do is copy this image and I'm going to go over to Canva. And now I'm going to create a document that is specifically the size of the hoop that I'm going to be creating a design for. So the hoop is inches. The hoop is about 6.75 inches wide and it is 4 inches in height. So from there, it's going to create a custom size document. And now we can go ahead and paste the image here onto the document. And I also have the name that I was meant to copy over here. I'm just gonna paste it here as well. Okay, so now that we're inside of the Canva document, now it's time to head on over to the text, and we're gonna just type in all caps, wifey. Oops, wifey. Okay, and now we're going to go on to the font and we're going to attempt to find something as close as possible to the wifey that is in the original image. So give me just 1 second, please. And all of a sudden I thought to myself, I think this is serif, and I typed it in and it came up and it looks really similar, so we're just going to go with it. And it is pretty large. Let me go ahead and like shrink it this way because that's a little Akko Taco. Make it a little bit larger like this. Beautiful, I love it. And from here, I'm gonna click on the name that I copy and pasted from over yonder, and I'm gonna look for a cursive that's similar to the one in the original image. So we're just gonna go back here, click on handwriting. That'll narrow it down to some lovely cursive options. And now that we have some aspects of the design put into this document, I can basically just go ahead and stretch it as large as it can go, because again, this Canva document is the size of our hoop. So your goal here is to fill up this entire Canva document. So wifey is taking up majority of the space here, or actually it's probably not, because you can see the cursive goes past the wifey. So we're going to shrink it down just a little bit and make sure you use those purple lines to make sure it's in the middle. And we're going to go back to the font here and play around with the cursive a little bit more, because I don't think that is as close as it can get. Okay, so I found this handwriting and this font, and I think it's kind of cute. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so whenever this happens and you want the font to be on top, you basically just go up to position, I believe. Yes, and then this will pop up the layers. This is a little bit more confusing. I'm not even sure. I guess you could do it like this. Can you do it like this? Yes, cool. There we have it, right? And now we just want to make sure that it is, okay, I actually don't like this font because it's not like stretching across the letters how I wanted it to. So we're going to keep looking. We're going to keep hunting. Okay, so I've decided that these are the fonts that I've plan to work with inside of the software. So from here, I'm just gonna go ahead and delete the original image that I was trying so hard. Why can I not click on this? What the heck? Oh my god, that was so weird. Okay. So I'm going to click on share and click on download, and I'm going to make sure it's a PNG image. And once I'm inside of the software, I'm basically just going to maneuver things around. So you just want to locate the image that you just created, drag it into the software, and from there it just kind of loads onto there. Click on the auto digitize tab and click on click to fill, and then click on the image itself, and then give it a couple of seconds. It's going to detect the colors. It should just a couple of seconds because it really is a pretty simple design. And from here, I'm just going to zoom in just a little bit. And I can actually go ahead and use the auto digitizing features because it's going to be pretty neat. This one didn't really work out that well. That's okay, let's delete it. I could just click it myself. That is perfectly fine with me. The Castro looks a little weird right there, but that is okay. Smooth those shapes out, click on satin. Okay, so now that I have both aspects of the design digitized, now I'm gonna go in and kind of adjust some things that I'd like. The first thing that came to my mind was the fact that wifey is a little bit squashed. I feel like if it was a little bit taller, then it would go over a little bit better. So especially with the cursive aspect, I feel like it just would look a lot nicer. So, and I'm gonna make it a little bit larger as well. And I'm gonna make sure I line it up. And I'm gonna click on this, group all of that together. Okay, I feel like that looks so adorable. We can look back at the original and see what exactly is a part of the design. So the F you can see, the E you can see. So let's go back and make sure that that's visible. You can drag that down just a little bit, and now you can see those aspects, so it looks a little bit more true to the original. The letter is right in between the Y, the letter's right into the Y there, just little things like that. You can go back and forth and see what exactly is how you want it to look. So now that it's situated, it's time to figure out the sizing of the design and the sizing of the hoop and all of that. So grab the whole design, each aspect, and now it's time to think about the height and the width. So the height is meant to be 3.850 because that is just under 4 inches. But now, when that is the case, the design is 11 inches wide, and that is way too wide. The hoop is only 6.75, which is really about 6.50. So you're really only working with about 2 inches in height and 6.5 inches in width. And that's okay. I feel like that's great. So now it's time to get started with the multi-hooping aspect. Let's do it, shall we? So we can start off with the fact that the hoop needs to be a 4x4 hoop. So we just want to make sure that this red dotted hoop is a 4x4. And if you're not sure if it is, you can just always go to the multi-hooping options and just kind of double check and see which hoop you are using. I just go back between 4x4 and 5x7 depending on what I'm creating. So yeah, so I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, scoot over to the side, zoom in a little bit, and I'm basically gonna focus on lining up the middle. And I'm gonna add a hoop, and you always want to make sure it overlaps, because if you put the hoops next to each other, the middle part of the design is not going to be acknowledged for whatever reason. So you always want to make sure it's overlapping just a little bit. So I basically just overlap enough for the middle part to be included. And this little gap here, I make sure this is the same amount that's over here a little bit, just to make sure it's kind of in the middle. And you can kind of use the ruler over here on the sides to see what you're working with. You can even lift it up some to make sure this gap at the top and the gap at the bottom are even as well. That looks a little bit better. And so from here, now you want to save it to your laptop. So you're going to click Output Design and click Export Design. And then you're going to name it Wifey Mrs. Castro. And it's a 4x6. And you click Save. And then it's going to take you over to a screen with the parts of the design. So it basically is going to show you how many parts of the design you created. So I've created 2. So the first part is going to stitch out the W and the I of the design, and also the Mrs. and the period right here. And then the second part of the design, you can kind of see it is right here overlapping, and that's going to stitch out the rest of it. So you can click on the second part and it'll show up the rest. So it's going to stitch out the F, the E, and the Y, and okay, hold on. Interesting. I'm not sure why that's there. I'm not gonna lie. But the final moment to really tell is if it saves 3 files, but it should only save 2 because it just has 1 and 2 here. So let's go ahead and click save all now. So all hooping files were saved. And now if you go over to your, okay, so there's actually 3 saved. So yeah, so the third file seems to be stitching out the letter C, which is right in the middle. So that's basically how you go about creating a 4x6 file. But that's all for me today, guys. Thank you so much for being here. As always, comment something you'd like to see next. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.